Hi guys. I was just in the shower thinking, as you do when you're in the shower. And I have realised that I have been in a bit of a planner paradox for the past 6 or 7 months, I guess, or even the past year, because um, planners, whether they're Filofaxes, Moleskine, bound, ring binders, spiral bound, on your phone, on a PDA, on your iPad, on a slip of paper, on a post-it note, whatever. They're supposed to make you organised, right? I've realised that my I wouldn't call it an obsession. I'd call it a problem. Not that I keep buying Filofaxes. That's my Filofax shelf there. There. That's not all of them. It's not that I keep buying them. I haven't bought one since, for a while actually, because I got one for Christmas, but that doesn't count because I didn't buy it. I did ask for it though. And then I've got a few free ones, but I haven't actually bought one for about 6 months. And I don't keep wanting new ones, but it's just the whole Filofax thing. It's wasting my time, and not wasting my time like, not in a bad way. Well, I guess it's a bad way if it's wasting your time, but it's taking up way too much of my time. And if you look at, this is what I'm using at the moment, my A5 Raspberry Chameleon. If you look at what I was supposed to do yesterday, at the bottom there, have a shower, tidy my room, do some German learning, do a blog post, and my weekly planning. I didn't do any of that, any of it. The day before, I was supposed to set up my Filofax, and the day before that, I did that. Do some research for my Egyptology research, do some hieroglyphs, and blog planning. I didn't do any of that either. All that I have done is set up my Filofax, because I am obsessed with them. But that isn't the problem. I have realised that the problem is that it's taking up way too much of my time, because all of the time that I was supposed to spend at the weekend doing my hobbies, doing my projects, doing housework, doing learning German, I didn't do any of it. And the reason was because I was on the internet watching YouTube videos about Filofaxes on the Filofaxes Facebook site, reading about Filofaxes on Twitter, seeing people write about Filofaxes, just obsessing about planners. And it's ironic because that planner is supposed to help me do other stuff in my life, get my time management sorted, get my stuff organised. I think planners are about several things, but mainly they're about time management and stuff organisation. And what I mean by stuff organisation is like to-do lists, projects, routines, that sort of thing, written down, organised, stuff get done, really. And yes, I've used GTD and it hasn't worked for me, and I've come up with my own system, but the point is that I'm obsessing over this stuff, and it's taking up way too much of my time, and it's become a whole thing in itself. Because, let me give you a bit of background. At uni, I didn't really properly use a planner until, during the first year and a half, I definitely didn't use a planner properly. Well, you can say the first 2 years I definitely didn't use one properly. I got a Moleskine data page in January 2011, and that didn't work properly for me. And I eventually got my first Filofax, which is... Oh, sorry, I'm still here. I'm trying to get it off my shelf. This one, my Finsbury Raspberry Personal. I think it was on the 25th of March 2011. So it's almost 2 years. since I started using Filofaxes, and that was when the problem started. I I found it because I'd been using my iPhone, as my diary calendar thingamabob, and it wasn't working properly. So I was searching for productivity apps, and I saw somebody had referenced Filofax app on some website, and I thought, oh, Filofax app on my phone, how good would that be? And I typed in, Filofax app, and a picture of my of this one came up, and I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. So anyway, the next day I went out and bought it, and that's where the obsession started. I found Filofaxy, I found amazing blogs where people were talking about their Filofaxes, I found YouTube videos, I found a whole world out there of people talking about Filofaxes. And, you buy more and more and more, and that's, the buying problem. Everyone in the Filofax world is an enabler, and they mention, oh, I really like this Filofax, and then you go and look at it, and you go, oh, that's really nice, and you start having a conversation with them on Twitter or on Facebook or on Free for All Tuesday or Free for All Friday on Filofaxy, and you realise you're talking yourself into buying it, and there's no way back. You have to buy it, and so there's a problem in that. But I think the main problem, at least since I really started realising how good Filofaxes are in the customizability, was finding the perfect system, the with a capital T, capital P, capital S, the perfect system. So you spend however long, like for me, it was about a year, finding the perfect system, and then I found it. So you go through tons of videos, tons of vlogs, tons of, everything, talking to people, buying different planner inserts and, diary inserts, making your own on paper, printing your own on, the computer and all this stuff. And you spend a year doing that, obsessing over it, thinking, I've got to get this done. I've got to find the perfect system so that I can get on with my life and so that my Filofax can start making me improved in my time management and my stuff organisation. And so that sort of fills your year. Besides all the other stuff you've got to do, for me it was university, for other people it's like family and home life, being a proper grown-up, which I'm not at the moment. I don't have my own house, I don't have a family, so I feel like I've got more time on my hands than other people, but I guess other people with families and stuff, they don't have as much time to obsess over it as I do. But, maybe like half an hour a day you're on the internet looking at pictures of Filofaxes and pictures of setups and reading blog posts and watching YouTube videos, and you spend that year obsessing over it, and then you find your perfect system and you think, ah, I found my perfect system. This works for me. I've been using it for a month and it works for me and it's fine and it's perfect and it's great. For me, this is when the problem starts, because then I go, oh, right, okay, what do I do now? I couldn't, when I found my perfect system, well, originally I didn't realise it was my perfect system until I realised the past 6 months, every time I change it from that system, I go back to that system. That's when I realised if that is the system that I use the majority of the time and the one that I feel most happy with, that is my perfect system, then you get bored. Because for me, using a Filofax or any planner wasn't about finding the perfect system to be able to organise my time perfectly. Or it was at the start, but it evolved into a hobby in itself. It was, the things that I liked doing instead of uni work, going on blog posts and reading about different diary formats and stuff. So as soon as I found the perfect system, it was all of a sudden like somebody had taken that hobby away from me, that they'd said, right, that's it now, you finished that hobby, you can get on with the rest of your life. And you're like, but it's like if somebody were to say, you've read all the books in the world, you can't read anymore, you've read them all. And I'm like, but that's been my life for the past year and a half. I've been looking at blogs and tweaking my system and changing things and, adjusting the page order and making it perfect for me. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's it. I found my perfect system. So I couldn't stop watching those YouTube videos. I couldn't stop reading Filofaxes, of course. I'm never going to stop reading Filofaxes. But I couldn't stop. And you carry on watching YouTube videos and reading other people's blog posts, and you find that they've got this, really good diary format, a different diary format to what you've been using, and they've got the dividers slightly differently, like they use A to Z dividers instead of subject ones, and they use they use a dashboard, they use post-it notes instead of lists, and they just have a different way of doing it, and you think, that looks really good, that looks like that could work for me, I'll try that. So you start using it, and then because it works perfectly for them but it doesn't necessarily work for you, say you've made a drastic change, like you were using data page inserts, and then you think, actually, I want to try week on one page plus notes and put as many notes pages in as I need for that week for, notes, to-dos, that kind of thing. And then 2 weeks later you realise, this just isn't working for me. Oh, for God's sake, this isn't working for me. What am I going to do? And you get into planner fail. And you don't realise the solution is to go back to the system you had before. You start looking up other ways of doing it, and you start reading more blog posts and going on more YouTube videos, and you get into planner quagmire, like Laurie on Plannerisms has said, and that becomes another obsession in itself in finding a solution to your problem. So the point is that even when I found my perfect system, I can't drop the watching YouTube videos, reading blog posts thing, because it's fun. I like looking at other people's systems. I feel like I get to know them. I feel like I've got friends all over the world who know how obsessed I am and who understand that and who don't think I'm weird. So I watch their videos and I read their blog posts, and I find that they're doing something interesting with their Filofax, and I start using it, and then it works out that it doesn't work for me, and then I get into Filofax quagmire, and then I have to look for a solution to it, and then I find my perfect system again, go back to it, and then I find something new that somebody else is doing, and then it goes in a huge cycle. And I don't realise how much time this is taking up. Like, I spent this whole weekend sitting in bed doing Filofax stuff. That's not good. So I have got to make a big change. I can carry on watching the YouTube videos, I can read the blog posts, but I've got to somehow stop myself from changing my perfect system. It's a bit like what Jordan's been saying on her blog, The Crazy Life of Jay. She's had 2 Filofaxes. 2. I think it was a Grey Domino and a Crimson Malden, and she's been doing a couple of blog posts on how she has not changed, because people are amazed that she has not changed her Filofax, mainly because the major problem in the Filofax world is that you can't stop buying them. You can't stop thinking that, oh, a Filofax with a slightly different inside pocket layout will work for me much better than the other one I've been using. So you can't stop buying them. And Jordan has managed to stick to one Filofax for like a couple of years. That's amazing. So she says that even when she finds a really good system used by someone else, it doesn't mean that she has to change her system. So I think I've got to somehow find a way to not be persuaded to change, like I have been doing, to stick with my system. And here's the key point: to use my quite well set up planner system, which composes of, I haven't labelled the middle one, diary, organisation, which is lists, time management, goals, that sort of thing, the recording section, projects, and reference to get me to have a better time management system and stuff organization system, which is what this thing is designed for. So I don't spend 10 hours a day watching YouTube videos and thinking, what stuff can I do with washi tape? Oh, what sort of post-it notes can I use? But actually say, right, when I wake up, I will check my day plan. Then I'll do my day plan. If things involve lists from my Filofax, I will look in my Filofax for them. If things involve projects, I will use the project section. If things don't, I will leave my Filofax to one side and do the stuff that I've got to do. And then in the evening, I can watch YouTube videos and go, oh, that's a good idea, but I'm happy with my system. I think that's the point. Your Filofax or your any old planet is supposed to be for time management, for stuff organization, and for other things like notes, pictures, information, that sort of thing. But mainly for me, I've got to remember this is for time organization, stuff organization, in order for me to have an organized life where I do the stuff that I'm meant to do, where I do the, go to the appointments that I'm meant to go to so that I can organize my time effectively, and not so that I can sit watching YouTube videos for 10 hours a day, change my system, and then get into Plan a Quagmire and spend the next 3 months trying to find the perfect system again, only to go back to the perfect system. So that's my little rant, and hopefully I can persuade myself to stop being in Plan a Quagmire. So I don't know if this helped you, but that's my little rant, and bye.